Hey everyone, as you can probably tell by now, there's something wrong with my face. I want to just tell you a little bit about it and how this happened and what can be done going forward. About a week ago, um, last week, I went out of town. I went out of state to see someone that was in the hospital. And it was an extremely stressful trip. The person was gravely ill, and seeing that person for me was very stressful. The second day that I was there, I noticed a strange sensation in the taste buds on my tongue, and I can't really describe it any other way other than things sort of felt smooth, like had a smooth texture in my mouth, including breakfast and brushing my teeth. It just felt this smooth sensation. But I didn't think anything of it. I just thought maybe it was the difference in the softness of the water, the different town, etc. And then later on, I was recording a video, and I noticed that my right eye was a little bit more droopy than normal, and I just chalked it up as being tired. I had not had much sleep in the last couple of days, and I had been driving a long distance, and I just really didn't think anything of it. When I was driving home on the third day, I was talking to my mother, and I was saying how tired I was, and that I felt like my head was sort of in a bubble, and that my eye was watering a little bit, and that it was not usual, but that I was just gonna go home. And I didn't feel like I was falling asleep, but I did feel more tired than usual. So a few more hours went by, and I realized that I was having actual trouble closing my right eye. And I pulled over because I noticed that my mouth also was not functioning properly. And I pulled into a restaurant, and I went to the restroom, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I could see that my right side of my face was not cooperating with me. And I got back in the car, I looked in the mirror again, and I smiled, and only one side of my face smiled. And of course, then I got scared, and I was talking to my sister at that time, and she told me to go to the nearest emergency room, which I did. I was in Somerset, Pennsylvania, and it just so happened that that hospital happened to be a stroke center. So she said, "You're in the right place." I was not having a stroke. They did a CT scan. They did another test, some blood tests, and they diagnosed me with Bell's palsy. How does this happen? So what they say is that the herpes zoster virus, which is the virus that causes chickenpox and shingles, can be reactivated in times of extreme psychological stress, and it can affect the nerve. And another symptom that I had that I didn't really notice, I didn't think anything of it at the time, was that I had a rash on my wrist, and it was very, very slight, but I kind of just chalked it up as a heat rash. I wasn't really connecting the dots with these symptoms, but I had this really itchy rash on my wrist, and I thought, oh, it's just from the gloves. And I didn't think of it at the time as to why it was only on one hand and not both hands, because I was wearing gloves on both hands. But that was another symptom that kind of showed up, was this slight rash. Being in the ICU, you have to robe up, glove up, and wear a mask. And right behind this ear, I started to get pain behind my ear, and it was quite painful. And but I was wearing the mask for several hours during those days, and so I think that might have contributed to this issue. Also, my whole life, when I've worn glasses my whole life, and I do remember when I would run. I was in the military, and I would have to run. And when I ran with my glasses, a lot of times I would feel pain behind my ear, right where my glasses would rest, and sometimes it would be throbbing, but I never did get an explanation for that, and but I just always remember that being an issue. So the herpes zoster virus can get reactivated in times of extreme psychological stress, and it manifests itself in this way with the Bell's palsy. And while they prescribed me a steroid to get the swelling down, you can see my cheek here is quite swollen, and they also prescribed an antiviral similar to something like Valtrex, you may have heard of. The herpes simplex virus takes many forms, but it's basically the same thing. And they gave me a 10-day regimen of those two drugs. And I have an appointment with my primary care on Friday of this week, and hopefully I can get some other tests done. I've been told that it can also be caused by Lyme disease, and there's some other tests and some other conditions that kind of mimic this. So I just want to get checked out and make sure that none of those things are happening. But I can tell you that I do have some pain in my right side, kind of like a headache behind my ear, definitely, and I feel very tired, and I'm having a little bit of trouble sleeping, but I don't have any trouble like breathing or anything like that. It's just that my facial muscles are just completely dead. There's no connection between my brain and this nerve here on my face, and I do kind of have a headache, back here in the back of my head. That's kind of painful sometimes. So just getting the inflammation down and hopefully getting the virus under control so that my face can calm down and start working again. But that's what's going on with me. If you have any questions about Bell's palsy, if you want to know more about it, just ask me a question there in the comments. I am looking into possibly getting disability for temporary, because I have to be facing the public, and I can't have conversations like this. It's very difficult, and so I'm looking into that as well. But any tips that you have for me, just let me know, and I'll see you later. Bye.